Why now? Why you coming to promise the people all over again? But listen keenly and shut your fingers. Here we go.
So no government will be able to come and make false promises and hide the truth and tell you half-truths and trick you into voting for them. And then when them win, them throw on poison for you.
And here we are, 8 years later, still waiting on Andrew Holness to decide when the next election will be called. The irony.
All right, and I have a democratic right to mute you and tell you so we don't need you over here, so thank you.
In the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute, and I want you to listen to me carefully, impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
And yet, when the opposition leader Mark Golding tabled an impeachment bill in 2021, the Prime Minister has ignored it ever since. I wonder why.
Within the first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to introduce term limits on the office of Prime Minister.
No, this one is rich. The same man who promised term limits is now the same man demanding a third term. Make it make sense.
At a convenient time within our new government, we will hold a grand referendum on the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, as the final appellate court.
But guess what? That grand referendum is still nowhere in sight. Meanwhile, ordinary Jamaicans like me and you are struggling to afford justice at the UK Privy Council. We can't afford it. So I have to ask, who really has Jamaica's best interest at heart? Who wants us to unplug from the monarchy? Now it's time for What's to Come. This week, all eyes were on opposition leader Mark Golding.
You know, people, I'm not lie, I played this clip about his promising the last 100 days, in his first 100 days. And honestly, it is very disheartening. It is disrespectful, downright disrespectful. He's not worthy of being sitting in that seat calling himself the Prime Minister of Jamaica. It is a disrespect to the Jamaican people. And no longer should we just sit around and have him doing all type of foolishness with the Jamaican people. Coolly, may I tell you, man, I understand you are a Labourite and you're unable to comprehend properly. You understand? I understand that your brain is not that developed. So it causes you to only say the least things. Yeah? I know that. But it doesn't pay to be ignorant. It doesn't pay to be a conformist and not be able to critically think. It is sad. And it just clearly outlines what are the implications of a poor education system. I understand you. I understand that you will do any and everything to support corruption because you have no self-worth, no pride, no dignity. This is what Marcus Garvey said to us. We need to have pride as Jamaican people. When people steal from you, it's not supposed to be normalized. It's not supposed to be normalized to be dunce. It's not supposed to be normalized just to say any and everything. It is sad. It is really bad because you type in all of these foolishness. You don't have nothing to teach your kids. Nothing to teach your kids. And then the cycle continues. Jamaica cannot operate like that. Edward Seaga did it when he privatized the schools. When Michael Manley said education free, he privatized the school. And the same thing happening under Andrew Holness, where only the wealthy can afford proper education. It is bad, Jamaican people. And I ask you, Labourites, have some pride and dignity among yourself. take your head out the ground and put it in a book so that you can learn something. It doesn't pay to be illiterate. It is not fun. I want Jamaica to get back to the state where we frowned upon dunce. We don't laugh and hug it up. We say, no man, dunce is not the way. The Prime Minister laugh about people being dunce because they know that they're stealing money from the Jamaican people. And when you steal from the education system, you're undermining your country. Your country cannot have a future. And then I heard him in Parliament. He stood up and told lies about the economy. He stood up and tell lie about our history. Him blame Michael Manley and tell him say it's a failed system. And since this Prime Minister has been in power, he has been using $11.4 billion from NHT, which Michael Manley started. How can you have a wickeder man than this? You see, them say ungratefulness worse than Wobia. Imagine the man plant him field and give you yam for eat, and you curse the man, say him never do nothing for you yet. You're evil, Mr. Prime Minister. You are a disgrace to the Jamaican people, to our past, our present, and our future. You have done so bad to the country. And with Marco Rubio coming on Wednesday, we know what you're going to do. You're going to keep your visa and sell out the health of the Jamaican people. We know you don't care. And that is the reason why the Jamaican people must vote you out. Because you're wicked to Jamaica. I'm telling you, man. Let me continue. And then I want to play Jamaica's relationship with the IMF, you know. Because here he is giving praises to Bruce Golding and also, what's his name? Please, somebody tell me the finance minister, Audley Shaw. Audley Shaw, Bruce Golding, we couldn't pass an IMF test. He's giving praises to. Oh, what wickedness. Oh my God, man. What wickedness. This is what we have to endure, Jamaican people. We have a Prime Minister that is comfortable to stand up in the House of Parliament and lie to the Jamaican people. Disrespect the leader of the opposition, calling him a workless father. Those things are not joke. Those things are unbecoming, very unfortunate for our leader to be talking in the House of Parliament about things like that. It is not good. It is not something that we're supposed to accept. Jamaicans love to be entertained over being educated. If education is the key, why are they hiding it from us? Why are they stealing the money from the Jamaican people in order to make education better? It is a crying shame. And I'm glad that Kerry is here so that we can teach her about the Jamaican relationship with the IMF and set the record clear. Who actually put Jamaica back on track? So when you hear them come and talk about Audley Shaw and Bruce Golding, they did nothing for Jamaica. Not a thing they did for Jamaica than put it in a hole. But I will pause for a bit. I will finish with Nikisha Burchell and then we go to the Jamaica's relationship with the IMF and we'll hear about how EPAC was formed and what was the role of EPAC and still the role of EPAC today's date. We'll continue.
He delivered a stellar, visionary budget presentation. Mark Golding gave his best budget presentation to date and the comments are coming in. People really found a connection, something to hold on to in this budget. Is this a forecast of what's to come under Prime Minister Mark Jefferson Golding? Only time will tell. Only you can decide when we go to the polls. Based on the rave review, it is clear that Mark Golding hit it out of the parliament this week. In fact, persons are saying if this is a preview of Jamaica under a PNP led by Mark Golding, then our future bright like morning star. Congratulations, Mark Golding. We're proud of you. And you don't want to miss next week's episode because I'll be breaking down.
Indeed, we are extremely proud of Comrade Leader Mark Golding and his presentation. It was calm, collective, and you could hear every word that the man spoke. And you could understand everything that the man said. It's nothing about want to bamboozle anybody, take anybody for a fool. It was proper information that you can track from starting to the finish. You understand? Because anybody who is able to give you clear lines of how things going, somebody who wants to teach you and wants to make your life better. So we want to say thank you, Comrade Leader Mark Golding. Also, I want to say to the Jamaican people, the 31st of March is the last time to go on the voters list. I'm telling you from a person who have never voted, I'm saying if there's no other time in Jamaica history you're supposed to vote, I believe this time. Vote against a prime minister and government that stole $902 billion from education. Vote against a prime minister and a government that cannot tell you about $830 billion in healthcare. Vote against a prime minister and a government that is going to tell the police to shoot first and ask questions later. Vote against a prime minister and a government that is going to tell the Jamaican people to meet the judge or meet your maker. Vote against a prime minister after 9 years of governance telling the Jamaican people that the roads are a national emergency after he had repealed the Road Maintenance Act in 2017. Vote against a prime minister when in 2002 he was presented with the Ethics Code of Conduct, which is a code of conduct about good governance. He did not sign it. Vote against him. Vote against a prime minister whose statutory declaration cannot be certified in over 3 years' time. Vote against a prime minister who is comfortable to speak 5 hours long and did not speak about or icon Usain Bolt and 200 other Jamaicans who have lost their money from SSL. Vote against a prime minister who don't believe in the integrity of the financial sector in the country. Vote against a prime minister who is willing to choose his visa over the health care of the Jamaican people. Vote against that prime minister. And I will continue. I'm going to play about Jamaica's relationship with the IMF.
2013, IMF officials would begin their meetings with a dark joke. Has Jamaica... This video is brought to you by Imprint. Jamaica and the IMF have a difficult history. The island has spent most of its independent history under some sort of IMF program. And after its 15th bailout in 2013, IMF officials would begin their meetings with a dark joke. Has Jamaica crashed yet?
You hear that? IMF start their meeting asking if has Jamaica crashed yet. We're resilient. We're a strong set of people. And we will not be overcome by somebody who don't like the Jamaican people but love him pocket and money. But we'll continue.
Today, however, everything has changed. Jamaica has staged perhaps the most impressive fiscal recovery in modern history, with debt to GDP halving in a decade, and is now basically the IMF's favourite economy. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how Jamaica became a sort of Caribbean Germany, and what more general lessons there might be available. Before we get into it, we should say a lot of this video comes from a series of growth and income stagnated, unemployment rose, and crime became endemic. Wealthier, educated Jamaicans started leaving the country in ever larger numbers, triggering a so-called brain drain and pushing Jamaica's economy into a downward spiral. Despite this, the government kept on borrowing, pushing Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio up to frankly silly levels. It often rose above 100% of GDP and peaked at 212% in 1984.
If you're learning...
People, continue to like and to share. We're listening to Jamaica's relationship with the IMF, and I hope that you're listening keenly, because we will be discussing it after, because we hear the Prime Minister telling a lot of lies in the House of Parliament. So we have to remind the Jamaican people and also listen to the dates properly so that we can talk about it. All right?
Dangerously high for basically any economy, let alone one as poor as Jamaica, which had a GDP per capita of just over $1,000 at the time. Just servicing this debt, i.e. paying off the interest, often accounted for more than half of all the government's revenues, and it looked like Jamaica was stuck in a debt trap. Even though the government pursued a policy of massive austerity, they were unable to reduce the overall debt burden, because recurring interest payments just kept them pinned down. This meant that Jamaica was constantly going to the IMF for bailouts, even though many Jamaicans thought the austerity measures required to get access to IMF funding were both cruel and ineffective, evidenced by the fact that, well, Jamaica had to keep going back. Nonetheless, in the late 2000s, with its debt to GDP ratio rising, Jamaica went to the IMF once again. In February 2010, the IMF approved a $1.3 billion loan, and the programme started off surprisingly well, with the fund noting in its first review that
we reach at a date, people. Who was the Prime Minister of Jamaica in 2010? We have to ensure that we're following the date so we can understand the information properly. And this is not no information that is coming from, not no information coming from Jamaica. This is international people talking about what Jamaica's economy was like. Bruce Golding, there we go. And anybody can remember what major event happened in 2010? Put it in the comment section. The major event that happened under Bruce Golding in 2010. But we'll continue.
Every target had been hit, and growth was better than expected. However, the Jamaican government's cat-handed attempt to extradite gang leader Christopher Dudas Coke brought everything crumbling down. Coke was Jamaica's most powerful don, who basically ran the neighbourhood of Tivoli in Kingston as his own personal fiefdom.
There we go.
Everyone in the neighbourhood called him president, and Jamaican police had to ask him permission to enter. When the US first requested his extradition on drug and firearms charges in 2009, Jamaica's then Prime Minister, Bruce Golding, who also represented Tivoli Gardens as an MP, tried to tell them that it was a bad idea, but the US insisted, in part because they suspected Coke was funding Golding's party. Coke then turned Tivoli into his own personal fortress, with barricades and armed sentries, and the ensuing shootout, where Jamaican security services used helicopters and fired mortars on a residential neighbourhood that still held thousands of civilians, was a bloodbath. Over 100 people, including
people, I can remember this vividly, I was doing CXC at the time, and I remember going all the way to Spanish Town to school, coming from Jakes Road, Mountain View. And when you went at Crossroad, you can look all the way downtown. The road was clear. Gunshot was firing. Also, I record 2 bombs falling. I remember that. Shook the place all the way in Mountain View. So this was brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party. This is what they are about. Violence, corruption, crime, drugs, gun. This is what the legacy of the Jamaica Labour Party is. We can talk and sing about the legacy of Michael Manley. We can talk about Norman Manley. We can talk about PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson Miller. And we talk about it proud. We can sing songs about it. We can talk about the infrastructure. But what can the Labourites talk about? From Bustamante, Coral Garden Massacre, tell us a selfish over education. What's his name again? I can't remember his name, that banned black books from coming into Jamaica. You Shearer. Yes. And they can talk about Edward Siaga. We tell you, say, if him lose the election, him not lose the war. Them type of people that them can talk about. Them can talk about Bruce Golding and the Tivoli incursion. That is what their legacy is about. Crime and violence, arrogance, ignorance, destabilization of people, taking out the moral fiber out of the Jamaican people. That is the Jamaica Labour Party's history. Let me continue.
A large number of civilians were killed, and there were reports of extrajudicial assassinations by the security services. Politically weakened, Golding tried to bolster his popularity by increasing public spending, violating the terms of the IMF's agreement and pushing up Jamaica's debt to GDP.
You hear that again? Let me go back, people, because in the House of Parliament, the liar and wicked Prime Minister never tell the Jamaican people, say, a Bruce Golding caused it, the meltdown in our economic system. Listen again.
Services. Politically weakened, Golding tried to bolster his popularity by increasing public spending, violating the terms of the IMF's agreement and pushing up Jamaica's debt to GDP.
Okay, so you see this $20,000 to 50,000 Jamaican is the same thing. Anytime them get unpopular, them start spending money loosely, right? Just to buy vote, to buy back popularity. That is the only thing that the Prime Minister had, especially in COVID. All he had was popularity, nothing of substance. I read his manifesto and the manifesto made no sense. I did not vote in COVID. And I remember two young men I said, why is it that we are out here jumping about politics and it's the same man who tell us every ton of a yard couple weeks ago and then call an election in an unprecedented time to put the Jamaican people life at risk? This man don't care about the Jamaican people. And at the same thing him gonna do on Wednesday when Marco Rubio come here, because he don't have a choice. Why? Because he's compromised. They know that he's corrupt. And if him don't jump where them tell himself to jump, them are gonna fling him behind in a prison. Because they know how corrupt he is. So again, this man showing Jamaican people over and over, he not care about them. The same man who call election within a pandemic. Same man will tell you, say you can't go out, go buy food for yourself. He might go lock you up. Labourites, you don't remember this? He might not care who you be. He was taking money from you, running down people who are hiding in a bush, do music and go a dance. Lockdown everywhere, yet still Mocha Fest keep down a Negril. Same man. So anytime they are unpopular Jamaican people, what they do is to fling money about, and yet still they come in the House of Parliament, deceptive as they are, to tell you about, oh, don't party with or rent money. Gimmicks, joking, disrespecting and undermining the intelligence of the Jamaican people. Instead of he came out and provide proper information for the Jamaican people. This is the leader that a lot of Labourites run up and down behind her. We will continue.
In late 2011, Golding was forced out anyway, and his centre-right Jamaica Labour Party government was beaten in a landslide by the more left-wing People's National Party, the other big party in Jamaican politics. With debt nearing 150% of GDP, the PNP immediately went to the IMF for yet another loan. The IMF were understandably hesitant. This would be Jamaica's 15th IMF loan, and the last one had collapsed barely a year in. But after a year...
You hear that? The last IMF loan under Bruce Golding and Ardlishaw with this wicked man I give praise to in the House of Parliament is disrespectful, downright degrading, and lying on history. It collapsed almost a year in. They couldn't pass an IMF test. They could not. And the wicked and lying Prime Minister giving praises to people who have failed and done a disservice to the Jamaican people, and then you're going to praise them. You're a liar. You're a wicked. You're deceiving. The Jamaican people will see you for who you are, man. No longer the people will stay a fool. No longer. We'll
intense
continue.
lobbying in 2013, Jamaica finally received a $2 billion lifeline. Everyone thought the programme was doomed. It demanded crippling austerity in a country that had a long history of fiscal incontinence and was already running a primary surplus of around 5% of GDP. However, that's not quite how things turned out. Jamaica successfully made further cuts to government spending and regularly ran primary surpluses between 7 and 8% of GDP. Jamaica's...
So people, let me explain the degrowth process right here. You remember when our grandparents used to say, we ban your belly? Yeah? We have to ban your belly. That's why we were able, that's why under the People's National Party, they had wage freeze for our teachers. Yeah? But the teachers were, this information was communicated to the teachers and our public sector workers on a whole effectively, and what they were getting as pay was sufficient for them to have a livable wage and have a proper standard of living in Jamaica. So when they talk about wage freeze and wage freeze, yes, it happened, but the teachers and the public sector workers were living properly. There's no wage freeze right now, and I have a teacher that asked me for $1,000 Jamaican. This is how bad the system is. Annually, we have over 400 teachers leaving Jamaica. Why are they leaving Jamaica? Because the system is so good and things are going, everything happy. We have from 2018 reported by the Gleaner, over 400 nurses and doctors leave Jamaica. What them a leave Jamaica for? And Jamaica good as the labor right them say. Why are they leaving Jamaica? So when you hear the Prime Minister attack all type of foolishness, you know what it makes us do? It makes the Jamaican people get smarter. Because when I sat and I listened to him speak, I said, oh my God, what a wicked man. Oh my God, what a wicked man. But we'll continue. So remember, the wage freeze happened because we had to tread water lightly. So all with them boast about now, about debt to GDP going down, it caused because Honorable Portia Simpson Miller and Dr. Peter Phillips was able to rescue the economy when Bruce Golding and Ardlishaw failed. The deal with the IMF fall through before 1 year period. Well, we continue now, people.
However, that's not quite how things turned out. Jamaica successfully made further cuts to government spending and regularly ran primary surpluses between 7 and 8% of GDP. Jamaica's debt-to-GDP ratio duly fell from 147% in 2013 to 72% in 2023, with further declines expected in the coming years. Unemployment and poverty...
Hold on, we want to ask, who was the government in 2013? Please, somebody put in the comment section. We have followed the information, because we have to ensure that we keep up with the information, because the Prime Minister loves to lie. And he's wicked. He's wicked. Sister P. Yes, man. And that is where the decline start from. That is where the debt to GDP ratio decline start from. We play it again, We want the people to listen keenly. And somebody call a labor right, make them hear, man. Come hear the truth. Because them too lie, them love to lie. And the Jamaican people cannot move forward if we just tell lie every day. Tell the people the truth. Only the truth can set you free. And the truth is what the people need. We don't want to hear no lie.
Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio duly fell from 147% in 2013 to 72% in 2023, with further declines expected and primary surpluses between 7 and 8% of GDP. Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio duly fell from 147% in 2013 to 72% in 2023, with further declines expected in the coming years. Unemployment and poverty.
So the further years in 2025, that is what we're seeing. It started from 2013 when the debt to GDP ratio was 149%, and it fell from 2013. Yeah? And so what them are talk about now and I beat up them chest, it is because of the People's National Party and the wicked Prime Minister stood up and giving praise to Bruce Golding and Audley Shaw, who had wrecked the Jamaica's economy. How can you support such an evil, lying, wicked man? How? How can people support this man when in bareface stand up in the House of Parliament and lie to the Jamaican people? Lies, wicked. We continue.
Have fallen to record lows. Inflation has been tamed, and in 2020, Jamaica formally exited its IMF program. It's hard to overstate quite how incredible this is.
You hear that? It is incredible. So we want to put some orange art in the comment section for Sister P and also Dr. Peter Phillips, no man. Please, there's some orange art to want. Labor rights, come over here so and listen. And the two lie. The Prime Minister lie and the lie just the same. The benefit that we're seeing with the decline in the debt to GDP ratio, it is because of the People's National Party. And with the debt to GDP ratio lowering, that is just the start of the recovery. What needs to happen now is a growth in our economy. And only the People's National Party in the budget debate spoke about growth for the country. A plan for growth, and that is called the orange economy. Right? So, we continue, people.
Program. It's hard to... Employment and poverty have fallen to record lows. Inflation has been tamed, and in 2020, Jamaica formally exited its IMF program. It's hard to overstate quite how incredible this is. Very few countries run surpluses, let alone ones representing 8% of GDP, and debt ratios are rising across basically the entire world. This austerity did limit growth to an average of about 0.75% a year, but that's risen to more like 2% today. Wow. So how did Jamaica pull this off? And are there any general lessons for other debt?
So today's date, the economy declined in the two last period, 1.8 and 3.5, right? The projected estimate of growth from now to 2030, when we had the 2030 vision, the Prime Minister came out and said it is no longer achievable. But Miss Favour Williams, sometimes I wonder if she's sick. Honestly, no disrespect, I feel like there's something wrong with her mental state. I don't think she have all of it together, right? She said the Jamaica economy is looking to grow 1%. And imagine Mama P, after Bruce Golding and Audley Shaw wrecked the country was able to grow 2% after. And this big, massive growth what we are seeing, where the Prime Minister talk about, we're only able to grow 1%. Come on, joking. We will continue.
Dictated governments. Well, some of this is down to the usual stuff. Jamaica had some pretty strict fiscal rules, adherence to which was monitored by an independent body. The Jamaican experience is also another data point to suggest that anyone who wants to bring their debt-to-GDP ratio down should focus more on spending less rather than growing more. But the big lesson from Jamaica is the importance of cross-party consensus. In other words, this only worked because both the big parties in Jamaica, the JLP and the PNP, agreed it necessary to happen. The JLP actually took over from the PNP in 2016, but they stuck to the same fiscal rules and didn't weaponize.
You hear that? Any labor right there? When them take over, them stuck to the same fiscal rule. And you're going to hear what is that they stuck to. You're going to hear what was created out of this. So when them talk about like a them created, let me go back again with that information. Listen to this.
In Jamaica, the JLP and the PNP agreed it necessary to happen. The JLP actually took over from the PNP in 2016, but they stuck to the same fiscal rules and didn't
One more time.
In Jamaica, the JLP and the PNP agreed it necessary to happen. The JLP actually took over from the PNP in 2016, but they stuck to the same fiscal rules and didn't weaponize the issue politically, like, say, David Cameron and George Osborne did in the UK. Cross-party consensus is necessary here, because without it, the other party would just use the newfound fiscal space for fun stuff, like tax cuts or more spending, which would make sustained surpluses impossible. This is sort of what's happened in the US. Neither party is even talking about the deficit, because they suspect the other one would just abuse any newfound fiscal space, which is what George W. Bush did with his tax cuts after Clinton's excessive surpluses in the late 90s. Now, this cross-party consensus was made possible in Jamaica by some very specific political conditions, including the existence of a multilateral discussion forum called the Economic Programme Oversight Committee, which was set up years ago to deal with class divisions and political violence, and the fact that ordinary Jamaicans are far more wary of national debt than the Programme Oversight Committee, which... Now, this cross-party consensus was made possible in Jamaica by some very specific political conditions, including the existence of a multilateral discussion forum called the Economic Programme Oversight Committee, which was set up years ago to deal with...
The Economic Programme Oversight Committee, EPOC, was created by the People's National Party, and that same fiscal discipline was forced to be carried out by the Jamaica Labour Party. So they did not create it. They did not. They only continued because EPOC was created so that they cannot go left nor right. They had to go on a straight path to ensure that Jamaica debt to GDP ratio lowered. So no thanks to you, the Jamaica Labour Party. Only thing I can say that you have to stay in line and follow that and stay in line. Because if you know they come out of line, there are consequences. So thank God for the People's National Party. We have another rescue mission. And I'm telling every comrade to lace up them boot, gird them belt, and to stand firm. Because we have to ensure that we rescue our country from these wicked people. Thank you. We'll continue.
Class divisions and political violence, and the fact that ordinary Jamaicans are far more wary of national debt than most electorates, thanks to their difficult history with it. Nonetheless, even if this is not easily generalised, this should still be an aspiration for other debt-addled economies. Fans of TLDR like you care about...
You hear that? So the Jamaican people, we're moving from the worst case scenario to becoming an example for the rest of the world to follow. You understand? We rescued our economy. And I just want to say thank you to the People's National Party. I wasn't in tune with politics. I didn't care anything about politics. But now I know, and I have to say thank you. We have to really say thank you. And the JLP, them wicked enough to now go say thank you, you know. When the traitor Nigel Clark did say thank you to the People's National Party, ironically, the Prime Minister come out and tell lies about it. Say, are them and Bruce Golding and Ardley Shaw, they're wicked. People, I won't stay long today. I'm going to open the box and let us have a discussion about what is going on.
My father Banya, my father Banya, my grandmother Banya, my grandmother Banya.
You know, I went on the road on Friday and somebody, for the first time, I let somebody hear this song and they didn't know what the song was about, but I had to explain to them it was all that was done by Michael Manley. And this song is not just a song for entertainment, but it is a reminder of our history. Clutch Eye, good afternoon. 1 second, we have to play this song.
That's why I not live. No, I not live. He gave us a message to all those people who no love progress. Who no love.
People, this is not just a song. I want you to put in the comment section which is your favorite part of it.
Progress. Say to do them with land lease. Say to do them with land lease.
My favorite part is free education. I can't wait for that to come back.
Let me juke them with the pioneer war. Juke them with the pioneer war.
Chico said all of it. If Jamal come back, we'll have less labor rights. We'll have more upstanding Jamaican people with pride and dignity.
Juke them with Jamal. Juke them with Jamal. Then you juke them with free education. Juke them with free education.
Rosemary said, who is those people who don't like progress?
Equal pay for women. Equal pay for women. Juke them with the minimum wage. Juke them with the minimum wage. My leader Banya. My leader
Livingston said all of the song. Me believe so too.
Banya. So let me die later.
For all who is coming in the box, good afternoon. I want to say we have to play this song until it's done, yeah? Because this song is powerful. As I said the other day, Friday was the first time somebody ever heard the song. And I felt so good introducing the song to them.
No, I'm not danger. Me a suffer with discipline. And a everyday manners. Me in a the struggle too. Me in a the struggle too. No bastard, no day again. No bastard, no day again.
Mr. Graham, Byron Graham, which one of the plan the Prime Minister fulfilled from his 100-day promise? Tell us that. If not, you cannot stay here.
Everyone laughful. Oh, everyone laughful. To them with the Cuban schools. To them with the Cuban schools. Then you to them with the micro dance. To them with the micro dance. To them with the basic schools. To them with the basic schools. Socialists are not fool.
Laborites no love school.
Socialists are no fool. Juke them with posing. Juke them with posing. Then you juke them with the impact Every man.
Yes, over here, labor rights, we keep on the manners. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon to everybody that is that's on the platform. Clutch Eye, good afternoon to you. Please, what you have to say
How are you, my
about?
brother? How are you? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Giving thanks alive and happy for the opportunity to speak to brothers and
Bless the
sisters.
name of Yahweh. Thank
Yes,
you.
man. Bless up.
First, I want to say thank you for the work you are doing.
You're breaking up, my brother. Sorry.
You are doing as well. Now I'm saying I thank you for the research that you are doing. Thank you for the wonderful job that you are doing. Because the nation needs to be educated.
Yes, man.
You
Thank you
understand?
for
The nation needs to be educated.
True,
You know?
true.
There is no vision in darkness. There is no vision
True,
in
true.
darkness. And you see this JLP people, they don't have no interest to learn, to go and research of their own, to go and search for information so they can teach their younger generation that's coming.
True.
You understand?
True, true.
So that is the problem that we're having. They're afraid of learning something good. They are afraid to learn something good. That's why they keep on doing what they're doing.
Yes.
Come out of the dark. Come out of the dark. You understand? Is PNP, that's the party that built Jamaica. It's the foundation. That's the donkey that built Jamaica. It's not JLP. JLP come to tear down. JLP have no good record. Every one of their record is tainted. Everything. Yeah. There's no good record. They have no good marks in the book. Come straight right now from I mean, it start by
Bustamante.
People saying that Bustamante,
selfish over education.
Better than education. Then come on. You know what made me so disappointed? And your oldness. We have been we are next door neighbor for the longest. And I didn't know that I was looking at the devil. I didn't know that I was looking at the devil.
Wow.
You understand? Angel, the house that Angel left from where her mother live right now, Michael Manley built that house. Michael Manley built that 2-bedroom house. And just 2 steps away from that house is Juliet. And when I hear Juliet talk about people live in river this and whatever she want to say, where she come from, right? Raya Kobe run right behind the houses.
Wow.
Right behind the house. Raya Kobe River run right behind Juliet house. You understand? Juliet used to spend time in my house. In my house. Yeah. I am so disappointed of them. I'm so disappointed. People need to go and do them research before them start to follow these people. Because they're leading you down in the wrong path. Wrong path. It's only PNP can bring back the country. And PNP has always been the party that bring back Jamaica on top. And we're going to do it again because we have the right Prime Minister.
Yes.
We have the right Prime Minister. Marky G, yes, ready to take Jamaica to another level. And I hope and I pray that the people, this young generation can come and make sure that labor right don't see power again. Because they need to be abolished. They need to abolish.
Yes.
Wipe them out completely. Wipe them out.
They're not for the progression of Jamaica.
No, they're not. They're heading for destruction and taking Jamaica into destruction.
What is your?
That's what it is about.
What is your thought about the Cuban health practitioners? That the Prime Minister, we've seen that Mayor Motley from Barbados, we've seen Mr. Rowley from Trinidad, also Ralph Gonzalez from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, standing up for the Cubans, standing up for their people, saying that they prefer their people over visa. What is your message to the Prime Minister today and to also Labourite about our Cuban brothers and sisters?
If Andrew don't stand up for the if him going to choose stinking visa over the people. Because if him do, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Pack your bag. Pack your bag. We need them. America has also, America, listen, America is the fall of Jamaica, and a lot of these Labourites don't even know. I don't want to take up too much your time. I have things to do, but I just want to make my local input.
No,
You understand?
When good treatment, no man, when good reasoning are gone, you don't have no time at all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I know, because I know. Well, you understand? Thank you, thank you, my brother. And please continue to do what you do. See, don't stop. Don't stop.
Blessings to you, man.
Thank you.
And with your support and other support, we will always be here fighting for the Jamaican people, because them can deport you from America, England, Canada, all about, but them cannot deport you from Jamaica.
Can't deport you from Jamaica.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
Jamaica, we ride. Jamaica we die.
Yes,
Jamaica
man.
for life. The land of wood and water. That is Jerusalem. Jamaica is my Jerusalem. Andrew need to go. Fiwi country. In no matter which part of the world I am, my mind is on Jamaica.
Thank you.
My mind is about Jamaica. My mind never stray away from Jamaica. So if your interest is to break down Jamaica, it is time for you to get on that boat, and then we push off that boat, and then you go wherever you want to go. If you're not for Jamaica, it is time for you to leave Jamaica and go elsewhere.
Straight.
Thank you.
Yes, man. Thank you ever so much for your input. And again, we're standing for Jamaica. Duke Scorpio, good afternoon to you. Please let us hear your contribution about that.
Pleasant afternoon, gentlemen.
Pleasant afternoon to you,
Always
sir.
a pleasure to be on Jamaica's program.
Yes, man.
I didn't stay to listen to the Prime Minister and him 5 hours worth of garbage.
Yes.
But it was 5 hours worth of theatrics that he kept up. Speaking one bag of nonsense. Believe me. A whole heap of nonsense. If you're going to talk about roads, you have to talk about PNP.
Yes.
If you're speaking about housing, you have to speak about PNP. If you're speaking about health, you have to speak about PNP. You understand? And I'm literally saying, these are some of all he wanted to do was to be disrespectful.
Yes.
Because after a speech from what Favor gave, and him realized that it didn't go nowhere, right? He planned to come with something as according to him dynamic, but it was just theatrics. And what you have to understand is arrogance is a part of the Jamaica Labour Party. 90% of those who I come across, and 90% of the Labourites that I come across, they are very arrogant. You understand? Believe me,
Get your call, my brother.
Wonder who's calling me just now. I need to get rid of them.
So big, take your phone call and come back. We'd love to hear your content, alright?
I need to get rid of these people who's calling me.
But thank you. As he was saying that the Jamaica Labour Party supporters, they love arrogance. And when he spoke about all of that entertainment, it was for them. Nothing of substance. It was never for the Jamaican people. Again, favor in his eyes and the Jamaican people eyes have failed to make an impact, and that's
They
why I'm
have
coming up
failed.
with all them jokes and gimmicks. But continue, Duke.
Yes, sorry about that.
No
Right?
worries.
And they kept, for the first, at some point I really said to myself, if it is one political party that should never speak about reggae music and Rastafarian, it should be the Jamaica Labour Party after all that they did to the Rastafarians down there in Coral Gardens.
Yeah, it's in
You understand?
1963. We'll never forget it.
They shouldn't, and even to our very own Bob Marley. You understand? From before we know that the Jamaica Labour Party, from way back when they had grave history against Cuba. Edward Seaga back in that Michael Manley came with, and that is why until today me and Motley respect Michael Manley to the level that he is. And all of them that sits in the house that calls himself a lawyer should be thankful for Michael Manley. Because it is with Michael Manley and the educational system that he brought that allows some of them to be there sitting as lawyers. They didn't look at that.
They're very ungrateful. They're ungrateful set of people, and as you hear, ungratefulness worse than Wobia. It's wicked, man. When you feed somebody, you treat them right, and then them tell you never do nothing for them. Are the worst thing that.
When the Prime Minister can get up and make it look like $1,000 on minimum wage is a whole heap of money, and people sit there knocking the decks, and it tells me that all of those who knocked decks that day for the $1,000, trust me, it is not ungrateful for $1,000, but $1,000 compared to what the economy is and how the economy is going, trust me, $1,000 is a bread on the shelf.
It's a joke. But you give
$1,000 is a bread on the shelf.
Right. Sorry, sir.
It hurts more when I sit down and listen to people speak arrogantly, right? Because they have no clue as to where the PNP, Michael Manley, Portia Simpson Miller, and PJ Patterson took this country from time and time again and put it where it is now. And they tried to let it look as if, believe me, if the Jamaica Labour Party could have removed everything that the PNP did in history, they would.
Yes.
Because you see the highway down there where them call Edward Seaga Highway, Edward Seaga never wanted to have nothing to do with a highway. Him shut down the programs time and time again when PJ came with the fact of coming or starting building the highway 2000.
And if you ask me, that needs to change, you know.
Yeah, it needs to change.
It's a disrespect.
It needs to change.
To people.
Everything they want to put the name Edward Seaga on. You understand? And what they should really put it on, they don't want to put it on. Because all Edward Seaga brought to this country was crime.
Illiteracy.
Yeah.
Crime and violence on the people, hopelessness, degradation. That is what he did. But I want you to hold for a second, Sir Duke. I want to take Turks McDonald and then I'll come to Uncle Cole. Turks, good afternoon to you. I want to ask you what you think of the Prime Minister wasted 5 hours of the Jamaican people's time, and also what you think about the Cuban health
Add in one
practitioner.
bag of love to me there.
Go ahead.
Add in one bag of love.
Okay, no problem. I want to hear well, go ahead, Uncle Cole. One bag of love, send in the request that we hear from you.
Make Mr. McDonald go ahead. We just have to add one bag of love to when time.
Yes, man. It's like Mr. Turk's doing something. But I trust and believe Jamaican people. It was like 5 hours wasted out of the Jamaican people's time. A lot of gimmicks. Go ahead, sir, Uncle Cole. Uncle Cole gone. All right, people. Erica Miller, I don't know if it's by accident that you...
Yes, it's accident.
I know that it's always accidented here, but thank you for always being here. Blessings to you.
Yeah. Take me out.
No problem. All right. I see ask and it shall be received. I think that is what it is. Good afternoon.
Blessings to everybody else. So
blessings to you, Uncle. What go on, man?
Boy, I'm there, I just pass by and I hear the conversation, I hear talk about the 5.5 wasted hours.
Yes, man. It was a disrespect to the Jamaican people.
That was what it was. The first hour and a half was rehashing history, but not rehashing correct history, but telling fibs and lies to score, useless political point instead of you telling people what is in store for them.
True.
And at the end of the day, you come up with $1,000 out of one little magic hat. Why you never take the $1,000 for yourself and get the people in the 300% where you take?
Thank you.
If you believe so that $1,000 is so worthwhile and can do so much, why didn't you and your cronies them take the $1,000 and hand people 300%? You know why? Because you're not a heart, brother. Your heart.
Don't care.
You get to a point where you believe, say, anything you do is justified. Meaning,
Jamaican people normalize corruption.
There you go. If you are to somebody something and them know say it bad, there's two reactions, It's either somebody will tell us it bad, but a person is so timid to say it bad because they're afraid of the opposite reaction and might come with a, you're doing bad, they're not going to tell you. So this is me saying that might be what's happening to the Jamaican people. Yes. They reach a point where they're so docile in terms of they don't want to think of the equal opposite reaction as we know in physics. They don't want to think about
Newton's third law.
There you go. They don't want to think about that, so they prefer deal with what them deal with now. But I have a sneaky feeling to them deal with stealing now, but come election, they're probably gonna deal with you differently, brother. Because $1,000 in your eye is something that's beautiful. In a people eye, that's a joke, brother. That can't buy nothing. Can't do nothing at all, But it's just weird how a person who justified 300% to him and his colleagues can look upon you and say you're only worth an extra $1,000. Make that sink in, please. Make it marinate in your brain. Enter your think about politics and what's happening. I listened to a radio station talk about the Prime Minister speech compared to the opposition speech and how the Prime Minister lick it out the park. I say, when people go for bias, they really bias, Because, you see, at one point, I was thinking the speech that the Prime Minister made about the new car, I thought it was something new. Until I started to do some research and I think, but wait.
2018.
2018, not that far from 2025. So he must know, say, him not for come with that. If it was like 2002 or 1980s, then he could have said, maybe. But 2018, brother, Nah, man, that wrong, man. And when you say it, you big up your chest like you're doing something new. This is why we know say. So when you talk about three card, man,
Mm-hmm.
I've never labeled a prime minister of Jamaica as a three card, man. And I don't want to start now, Mr. Prime Minister. So me, I beg you do better. Beg you do better. Cause me no
You
want
would
to
be in
do
the
it.
wrong if you talk it, if you say it because it's the truth.
Me just I try all our meds and be fear and be have something going
No,
on when it come
that
to
tell
when
you
it
your
come to
fear, man.
politics.
That trust me.
Right? When it
Even,
come to leadership, me I try to be fair. Me no want to label nobody, but do when you talk to Jamaicans, remember say not all of we not understand certain things. Some of we there we well learned. We
mm-hmm,
go university, we go as far as bachelors and masters, and some even go
mm-hmm.
to PhD. So we're not stupid. Talk to we like we have sense, no brother. That's all we ask you.
It further illustrates how him don't respect the Jamaican people. It undermines the mindset of the people of Jamaica. And he feels like when he's speaking, he's only speaking to laborites because their comprehension level is low and they will, take anything him say and run with it. But
When you,
continue.
when you say Jamaics, when you talk about the art of a good leader, a
Mm-hmm.
good leader understands. So when he run in an election, he run on a ticket to win, mainly to prove to his voters say, "Make me win." But once he becomes a leader, it is no more about your voter. It's about the Jamaican people. And the unfortunate thing for me, I don't think this brother can decipher when him stand up. Is he just the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party or is he the leader of Jamaica? I would like to think he's the leader of Jamaica. But at this moment in time, he's not speaking like that. He's still talking about, territorial politics where he's either green or orange.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, that's where I'm going to lose. Because you see, people who are independent mind thinking, meaning them not go for the orange and them not go for the green. What them go for is the person who best suit their current economical needs.
Mm-hmm.
Them people, when them listen, Jamaics, them are going to start look and say, but wait, one man bring $1 billion on the table for young people with housing,
Mm-hmm.
and him bring one free school meal a day for the kids. The playground the universities and all of them places. I would like to think that's what they're doing, and they're just waiting for the opportunity to go and cast their vote where they can say, you know what, brother, you see your gimmicks, we don't have time for that. Because here we are going. You see the parent will have a child coming now, or them have two child already, two children already. Them understand what going on and the hardship. Zine. So when Mr. Crawford say 1 degree per household, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think the people must have looked upon and I say, there's one person where I look upon my child and I say, you know what? One of your child, we can't give 5 of them, but one of your child is worthy.
Yes.
And it means if one go university, there's a likelihood him going to make another 2 go, because when him start working, probably say the 2 behind him get missing, but them still do something, but the other 2 will get something.
And that is inspiring as well.
There
When you
you
see
go.
that somebody from out of your household have done it, you're more likely to do it as well.
So one set is saying, you know what, we see what go on, we hear what go on, we're not going to say, the other set is saying, don't listen to that one day because how am I going to do it? Him only tell us him going to do it, but he can't do it. Like most people are saying, how is he going to fund the budget? Oh my God, man. With all of the money where I get teeth and things, so we don't know so we can fund the budget.
But look
I
at
was
this.
speaking to somebody today,
But look at
Jamaica. Give
this
me
for
one
1 second.
second. Mm.
First thing I want to make it abundantly clear to the Jamaican people, like somebody like Horatio Nelson. A government can never give you handout or give you anything free. You pay your taxes. Anything that you get back from the government, that is your money, right? And the government cannot give you handout. So those type of low level type of thinking, Horatio, you can go to the labor rights with that. No, you'll never be welcome here.
The reason
Your
why,
education. So I want to move. I want you to wrap up real quick, sir,
yes, sir.
and then
Just to
we'll come
say,
back to you.
just to say, to kind of cement where you just said, look, whether the government cannot give a handout
Please.
because no government goes in their own pocket and
Thank
take
you.
out a dime and get to any citizen of Jamaica. It comes
Yes.
from somewhere. It's either it come from IMF money or it come from taxpayer
Tax
money.
dollars. Thank
It
you.
no come from film pocket.
Thank you very much. So people like Horatio with them foolishness, until you can tell me which one of the promises that the Prime Minister have kept about his 100-day, you cannot come in this box. Yeah? This place, we're not here to argue with anybody. We don't want to raise any blood pressure. We want to ensure that we speak true to facts, and that's it. Horatio, again, you're not welcome here. And let me say that to you. Understand that clearly you're not educated enough to be here because you support a prime minister and a government that steals $902 billion from education, where only 18% of our youth pass 5 subjects or more. So therefore, we cannot have conversation with those type of people. A prime minister that that doesn't have his statutory declaration certified for over 3 years, did not sign the ethics code of conduct. Him cannot tell the Jamaican people which one of his 100-day promise he has achieved. So therefore, we'll not have a conversation. Freeness, no prime minister, no government can give you freeness, right? Your money where you, if you don't understand that, please, Onisha, mute this Horatio person because he don't understand yet. If you don't understand the simplest thing to say that a government cannot give you any money and cannot give you handout, this is not the place for you. Go and speak to the labor rights. They tell you about SYM, they tell you about bad mind, then tell you about handout. Those type of things are not welcome here. You're not smart enough. Uncle Cole, good afternoon to you. Thanks for waiting.
Yes, man.
What
Good
is your
afternoon.
thought about the 5.5 hours wasted by the Prime Minister and also the situation with our Cuban health practitioners?
All right. The 5.5 hours that he parried in the parliament, it was not parried to the Jamaican people, but for one like Orisha and the rest of labor rights them. Right? For the Cuban situation, do not expect any better than what Mr. Seago did 1980, about March 1980, when he gave Estarada 24 hours to leave. We don't know if this is true, but we heard that some ship is here, some container to pack up back the Cuban belongs and to send them back to Cuba. I wish to God that the contribution of the Cuban could be also packing those container. I've heard me and Motley and other, but which one of them struck me more is me and Motley. Says she don't have one Cuban medical aid in our country, but she's willing to give up her visa for the fight of Cuba. Right?
Yes, true
Medical,
comradeship.
right? About the $1,000. Make we put that $1,000 because no people don't know that the Prime Minister's salary will be moving this year by another $2 million. $2 million. The minimum wage, $1,000 a week. That work out in an 8-hour shift. Right?
Yes. Good afternoon to Sir Smith. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I will ask you for one moment. I just want to hear what One Bag of Love have to say, and then we'll love to have you join in the discussion.
Jamaics make Bobby talk me up on the bus and reach you, make the general talk.
All right. Thank you ever so much.
So that work out to $25 an hour, Jamaican. Less than a nice bag juice for an hour. But we must not forget that the pay structure, the Prime Minister's salary will be moved. Him do have to ask for it. Him do have to go to Parliament and announce it by $2.8 million this year. And we're moving next year, and we're moving every year. Right? So if you're in our country, I'm not gonna work $25 an hour, right? That is a bad situation and precedent. That when you look on a person for 60 minutes and give him $25 during that time of the day for that 1 hour when work, he can buy himself a bag juice, you know. He cannot buy himself a bag juice. While the Prime Minister will be working nearly $5,555 at the same hour. Right?
Yes.
So that was a slap once more in the face to minimum wage workers. And I heard all you speakers came on and tell you. And I said over and over and over, take away the achievement of PNP out of Jamaica history. And Jamaica will be like the Sahara Desert.
We wouldn't have a country.
No history did I leave back in Jamaica. None. We can prove our track record. What I am asking Mr. Prime Minister is two things of you before you announce the election. One, come and tell the Jamaican people what you have achieved over the last 9 years. I was listening for that. Me that come a one history class with one Bandulo professor in it. A Bandulo professor. Did in the history class last week, Thursday. I heard somebody said that him is a radio program. That radio program have 1.2 billion reasons to keep the JLP in power.
Yeah, that easy though. Cool.
Right? 1.2 billion reasons to keep Andrew Holness and the next 48 in power. The next thing, Mr. Prime Minister, before you announce the election, the Jamaican people want to know why you did not take the Integrity Commission to court to ask the Integrity Commission to release the forensic audit on your 28 account. And you say, me bad mind, you know. And me go bad mind too when me know how you get your money, you know. You understand me? So, these are the things, Mr. Prime Minister, when you go and come out and hold up that piece of paper from the IC, said, no, I'm certified, nobody can talk to me.
Thank you.
Right? So, these are the things that I'm asking for. If not, Mr. Prime Minister, I know you do not know honesty and you don't walk on the same avenue. Integrity don't come from where before Jesus passed upon that piece of road, they will go right down to the canal bank. Right? And you never live on the same avenue. But at least, sir, save the Jamaica Labour Party, because if you don't do them, when PNP win, all who stand up behind you cannot come to the Jamaican people and talk about honesty.
So true.
You sit down, all of you sit down with a corrupt Prime Minister, a leader that give you no paper to sign and tell you, say, if you not do what you want, you know what do. Me I take out no Senator Brown. You have to carry him to a court. Or fight him in a court. And you still stand up behind him. So now you don't have the integrity to lead the party. The well-thinking Jamaican. As soon as true color once more, the younger generation, we always say we're going to know PNP. They are saying, I spoke to some young man a couple weeks ago. And they said to me, you know that my grandmother tell we the PNP are thief.
Wow.
But Labour right a thief, alright? So me say explain that to you. He said my grandmother tell me say when PNP are thief, them blocky bird and scrums drop. But when Labour right a thief, them wetty bird in knife.
Wow.
Not even his scrums don't drop a ground.
And
That's
it further shows that our youth need to be educated and steered rightly. But Uncle Cole, wrap up for me now, please. I want
right.
and then you can come.
All right, that's some rest. All right, that's some rest, brother.
All right, thank you ever so much, like always, Uncle Cole. Sir Finzi Smith, good afternoon to you. We got what many Jamaicans say a bogus history lesson in terms of the Prime Minister budget speech. As a man who has a wealth of knowledge in terms of our history, which we always appreciate that you come and give us an in-depth analysis of it. Can you tell me what are your thoughts of the budget presentation of the Prime Minister? Anything you can point out to us?
Afternoon. First and foremost, I don't agree with Mr. Cole.
Yes.
A bogus history lesson is either history or his story. What was presented was his story.
Okay.
Which coincided with the facts. It was called manipulation. Someone has no knowledge to discover. Now, here is my thing. And Paul, I heard what you said, but I do with a clearer pattern. Everything you currently take for granted in this country was built by the kids above and beyond the objections of the Labour Party. Full stop. You need an institution that is worthwhile doing, and I can back it back. It was even tried to be camouflaged by Mr. Siaga, who changed names and claimed ownership. But that don't change the fact that is something he took over and changed to his own. I found the most interesting thing I heard was when the Prime Minister said, it's not your father, you're not the father, and your name called, but it was another Golden. No, if I'm in the twilight zone, because to the best of my memory,
yes,
Mr. Bruce Golden, who has some really good ideas and good thought processes, but carry things through to where they should have gone, left the country to Andrew in a bankrupt state. Does anyone forget Andrew saying it's going to be bitter medicine? That's why it was so grand. Where was the bitter medicine? But you can't convince somebody who, what do you call it now, is diagnosed as having a pathological condition. Now, I'm going to show you Catch 22. It is one hell of a conundrum about to confront us. I'm waiting on the bated breath. Let us track the facts. But my opinion, not something somebody tell me. Let's track the facts. Our tourism industry got a blow from we call it a travel advisory from the United States. The basis of the travel advisory was lack of proper medical facilities. So now, our tourism is affected by lack of proper medical facilities, 3/4 of which is being staffed by Cubans.
Yes.
So you send home the Cubans, and what are you left with? This is the United States that tell you to send them home. But if you are not a travel advisory, it was bad before, but don't go to Jamaica at all. There is no health here. Everybody needs to forget conveniently. United States under the same president here told us to stop buy oil from Venezuela,
There you go.
messing up the Petro-Carib deal. And we dutifully followed him.
This Prime Minister in 2017.
Matter of fact, we participated in mental assassination of the Venezuelan people. The same United States went back and bought oil from Venezuela. And we can't get none now.
And we also owe them $115 million US.
Add that now to what our national debt is, or have we conveniently forgotten that? I am wondering, what is the common thing to be using though? What can go so?
What can go so for real?
Also, if you find out that a female leader in CARICOM has testosterone levels at our current Prime Minister, I'm waiting with bated breath to see what he says to Mr. Rubio. He must also remember that of his 28 bank accounts, there's a distinct possibility that because some of them are a lot of them, like it may have crossed into the realms of the US banking system.
And what are the implications of that, given that the money has crossed into the US banking system? What are the implications that can come from that for the Prime Minister?
They take offense to that, and it's not the Integrity Commission, though. Uncle Sam said, excuse me, could you come here? Source of funds. And he cannot adequately provide that in a legitimate term. When the plane leaves here to carry Mr. Guyana, etc., the Prime Minister may be on it.
So you don't think him can bad up America like how he bad up the Integrity Commission?
I would watch with bated breath. I would be, it would be the saddest show in all the town. Because he has talked us into a corner, and his behavior patterns have been studied by people who are not as gullible as us. So trust, they know who they're dealing with. And they remember that he sat at the feet of Edward George Seaga, who Rockefeller, I believe, was the person who utilized the terminology, who called Mr. Seaga the con man of the Caribbean.
Wow.
So his antecedents cross into that level of association. In the middle of all of that, we have forgotten that the major time of his being employed was to Mr. Seaga.
And I heard you said that Edward Seaga just changed names of things.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, go and do your research as to what Hart was before.
Cabra, Washington, Burlington. I could play them mix up together and call it art.
And there was an institution that Norman Manley put together initially through Michael as well. And he took the whole of that and called it Hart.
The one that was located up in Newcastle?
Yes.
Yeah. So this art that the labor rights speak about, it wasn't something that he created from scratch?
No. Created nothing from scratch but mayhem. They simply changed names. You know, said names and places are changed to protect it.
Wow.
I don't cut you, my brother. Just like housing of Jamaica. It was Operation Pride.
Yes.
And Bruce Gordon changed it to housing of Jamaica.
Go ahead.
Oh, the institution don't change, you know. It's just the naming.
You spoke about Andrew Holness's relationship with Edward Seaga. Can you expound a little bit more on that?
The simplest way to put it is that he used to carry a briefcase.
Used to carry him briefcase. Wow. So I'm learning a trick or two.
Oh, more than that. He tried to improve on it.
Wow.
This is a man. Don't take my word for it again. Check the records. They're there.
Mm-hmm.
That the North Coast Highway was a waste of money. They should have used the money to improve the existing roads. His exact quote was, "It is a waste of money. The roads we have could be improved." But the same man come and say, "I told Andrew he should name it after me."
Wow.
And his level of influence is exhibited by the fact that the place is named after him. The man,
You have that accent there. No?
the man who vehemently protested it, it's named after him.
Oh, ironic.
Jamaicans don't look into the depths, you know. I listened to Mr. Cole and I could listen to him for a while. It is nice to know I am not alone. The North Highway was originally plotted through a different route, you know. And when Labour took over, they changed the route because people whose land would have been acquired for the original route, them cut them out of that and move it so that other people that they were associated with would benefit for the land from the land acquisition.
Oh.
Which created its own problems because the seismic surveys indicated why it's in certain parts of the road that are stacked up and look like it's prone to slippage. You know, everyone that cabinet had wanted to bring something to clear that cabinet deliberations had to be conceived for 75 years. Which technically meant that by the time it came out, who did the crap would be dead and gone. Calculated. But I come back.
Probably having two sons and grandparents, they started by that time too.
Yes. I tell you how it goes. Back to the fact that the people are unaware or it's right in front of them and they're blind. All designed to create a false narrative. And they do something wrong, and when you pull them up on it, they say PNP. No proof enough. They just say so. And we just hung it up.
I would love to know how Edward Seaga had changed free education in Jamaica.
Was his first act upon becoming Prime Minister, he removed the education cess.
Wow. Why do you think he had done that?
I'm brought in the Student Loan Bureau.
Exactly. Ask that again, sir?
Why you think that he had done that?
Let me turn it around. Why you think?
To have control over the people and keep them uneducated?
Forgive me, I tell you a little radical. I sometimes think that I'm too old to be an young man. The facts of it. Because too many black people was getting degrees.
Oh.
And you would soon have to start paying people consummate with their qualification. And water down everything student loan put people so deep in debt to have acquired knowledge and qualification that people with first degrees now have an accent answering the phones in DPOs.
Oh.
Do your homework and find out how many first degree are down in courses.
How many first degree?
Holders like BSCs and so. are operating out of call centers,
Sure.
but still owe the government money for student loan. Why wouldn't tell people, go ahead and start a business and with your tax breaks? We gave the Chinese. Something not only not wrong, it's insidious. Let me tell you how it works. If you lie to people for a job, and the first one say, I want $7,000 an hour. The second one, I give you 6,500. I want 5,500. Goes till you reach the end of the line, and that one say, we do it for free. More people you have applied for a job is the cheaper the wages. Next time, our music is so drastic that you forget the messages. There's a song that have lyrics that say, and the tricks played. Check it out.
So the state of education currently in Jamaica.
Poor. The
I'm still wondering with the education system right now, given that he was a former education minister.
And what was his achievements?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I can tell you what's even more interesting. Ask him, when he was in charge.
As a Prime Minister, what is his achievement for education?
Not only that, ask him why he was in charge of education.
In Jamaica?
Why is it his children wasn't in the...
Why was his children not educated in the formal education system?
They were homeschooled.
Wow.
And if you're going to tell me that them have learning disabilities, I know as to them school.
I don't know if it's me, but it's a bit low for me.
All right, am I clearer to you now?
Yes, much better.
I'm saying that if you're going to say why his children were not in the system that he administered because of learning disabilities, it brings into question as to his gene pool.
He might have some deficiency himself.
I'm just saying, when something happens to your offspring, it's usually tracked back through your gene pool.
That's so true.
Which is why when you used to take certain job application thing, you say, is there any history of mental deficiency or insanity in your family? They have to know what I'm gonna get. So if the man who was running the system, his children couldn't be in the system he was running because of their deficiencies, from whence did they get it?
It's a good question.
The other thing is, and I tell you what really pissed me off, and I'm surprised that my learned friend, Mr. Cole, didn't pick this up. Or if he did, he's when he talk about the misadventures of the 70s. He should be so freaking grateful for the 70s. You want me to tell you why?
Yes, please.
Michael Manley abolished the Bastard Act, which would have, if it kept in place, would have precluded his ability to be in the position he's currently in.
Say that one more time.
If the Bastard Act was in effect as we speak, the current prime minister would not qualify to be prime minister.
Oh wow!
Don't take my word. Go and research it.
Not just a minute, Jamaica. A young man, so we have to talk to him.
Yes, uncle.
Jamaica to be a JP, a pastor, and even school teachers. And you know,
Yes.
marry them time they know. People look down at you, you know, scorn, you know.
Yep.
Wow.
The middle name he does?
Michael.
Yes. You know who contributed to that part of his naming?
The same man that he is discrediting his time.
Mr. Holness Senior. Because of Michael Madley.
He said ungratefulness is worse than Wobia, you know.
Okay. But nothing before its time. What is hidden from is revealed to the babes and sucklings. The half that's never been told.
In your understanding of where Jamaica is at now, in 1980, Edward Siaga was there until 1989, right?
Yep.
And the 9 years of Andrew Oldness, do they share similarities, resemblance of that era?
Smoke and mirrors. You have a coach sports team yet?
Yeah.
You have certain football coaches who are there to assist him. With the title PM. He's playing the Siaga system.
Oh. So he's operating with a stencil.
Yes. It's the same man who taught him, who borrowed $5 million from a bank and said, forget him to borrow it.
I heard him spoke about FinSac in the House of Parliament, and given that we pay over $300 million for a FinSac report and we don't get it. Can you explain a little bit?
I want to see the report. It's in the election year and him have that kind of damning evidence. Bring it up.
Please.
There's a reason why you can't.
But what started FinSac though? How did FinSac come about?
Certain people was speculating with the foreign currency. We're giving out unsecured loans to them friends. That is why so much big man gets caught today, because them had a ball taking out loans. When the thing reached that point, Omar Davis had a choice. Number that hypothetically say that 3 million people in Jamaica and 2 million of them are poor people who had money in the bank. You are destroyed permanently if you applied what you needed to do to them. Or the 1 million who have about 3 houses, who will lose 1 or 2, apply to them. They were the ones who started the crap in the first place. Anybody who are in there who is a technocrat or gentleman in the business of finance will understand what I'm about to say. You have assets. For instance, your house is an asset that can appreciate based on how you keep it and the area in which it's being kept.
Yes.
Your car is also an asset which begins to depreciate the minute you drive it out of the showroom. Unless it's a very unusual car, it does not appreciate.
Yes.
Then when banks make money from debt, how it works is you put in money, they lend out your money at a certain interest to give themselves a profit and give you a profit.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to work. If you take the money you're lending without proper security and it is put into concrete and steel, that's called a non-performing asset. That's value. So you see all them tall buildings you built around the place?
Yes.
Those are non-performing assets.
Okay.
Unless you have the money to pay cash for what you buy and then rent it out to somebody who can afford it. It's just fiscal. And for those of you who don't realize what you're looking at, saw the movie Scarface?
Yes.
You remember when they was making so much money, they was carrying it to the bank in duffel bags?
Yes.
And somebody tell them about the RICO Act? Shortly thereafter, they started putting it into buildings.
Yes.
Tell them. That is why the skyline of Miami changed.
Oh.
Shortly on the heels of that, the skyline of Panama City changed. You still with me?
Yes, man, I'm here with you.
Something close to that now, the skyline is changing. Everywhere you look, there's a skyscraper. But we don't have fire engines or anything that's capable of fighting a fire on the top 5 floors. But it looked good. But it's not really doing nothing for now. And by the time the people who do it are supposed to be brought to book, they'll be dead. You follow me?
Yes, man, following you.
Now, where we are, unfortunately, pure smoke and mirrors. It's like a man dressed up in a wicked 3-piece suit until you get next to him and realize that he has never been close to deodorant.
Wow.
Him look good, but him smell bad. Certain people in high offices got popular wearing Clarks. And some people are now discovering that when the Clarks come off, him foot think. When that don't work, you get threatened. Government badness.
Running at demagogue.
Now those who are in my age group, I think they will appreciate what I'm about to say if their memories are intact. This shit has happened before.
Nothing new.
Eddie Siaga was the one after we get through Gilbert. That he had done such a grand job, which included dumping zinc, that he was heard to comment, if I don't win this election, God is sleeping. Obviously, God don't wake up yet. The people at the time didn't give him any hints. They just quietly sat, went to the polling station, dipped them finger in the ink, marked them X, and go sit down in them yard. The results almost gave Eddie a heart attack.
Wow.
Because he couldn't believe it. I am putting it to you that the difference between the Labour Party in opposition and the opposition, for those who are criticizing the PNP's lack of stridency, is simple. You cannot burn down a country and then claim say you want to rule it.
Say that one more time, please.
Cannot burn down a country and then claim you wish to use it to rule it.
So it's simple. So it's simple strategy over strength. You're saying.
And decency. You
And
can't ask
decency.
if you are creating a scenario where people are burning down things that are putting them and their children in danger. You can't do that. So you take the criticism and you put your plans in place to make certain that when you do get a chance to hold it, you do it right. And you don't make grandiose promises. Forget what happened when PJ Patterson won the first time.
Please educate.
Go back in your thing and look as to what the seat differential was.
Will do.
Further, Andrew never expected to beat Portia, you know. Certain people who shall remain nameless in the PNP on the altar of their own ambition sacrificed Portia's lineage.
Wow.
What has been happening since then is that God and Calm are not sleeping. So the PNP has been put through a time of suffering to remind them of the folly of placing thyself above thy country.
Wow.
We haven't learned that lesson so far. We just need to continue weeding and leave. It's like you set up a garden. If you spray it properly, weeds can't grow. The PNP may still have one or two weeds around hanging to see. They're actually labor rights in disguise.
True.
Sitting, hugging up people, hoping that when they arrive above the clouds, they will be there with them. The devil was an angel once. And he got thrown into hell.
Wow.
People must remember one thing. History has a nasty habit of repeating itself. That's the story. History. Let me tell you history. An uptown, very light brown, very educated man was chosen to lead a political party, and people criticize it like, bitch, him can't beat Buster. You're mad? Look at him. Take him where we go. He eventually proved them very wrong.
Are we talking about Michael Manley, right?
Oh, Norman.
Norman, sorry.
We now have another brown-skinned, uptown, very decent and educated young lawyer. Which is said, oh, you can't beat Andrew for charisma. I don't need charisma. Sometimes carries a stink with it.
Yes.
And what Andrew is proving is that you could swim all the strokes possible. Backstroke, butterfly, Australian crawl. If you're swimming across a sewage pool, when you come out the other side, you're still going to tell.
You spoke about history repeating itself.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening now.
So the financial meltdown that causes FinSAC, is SSL playing the same? Say it again.
SSL is the child of that situation.
When you say the child of that situation, please expound.
The meltdown was led mainly by Eagle Merchant Bank and its practices. You know who was in Eagle Merchant Bank?
Let's pretend I don't know.
Krasky.
You Krasky.
Yeah. He was anointed by Paul Chen Young and said, here, son, hold this, I soon come. It is also to be noted that Jamaicans act like they is deaf, dumb, and stupid when they don't realize PNP, looking at what SSL was doing with its early times, locked it down.
In 2013.
Yes. And the minute the JLP came into power, they opened them up with a vengeance.
In 2017.
I don't talk. All those who are blind, use your tapping stick and feel around, and who have ears, make them hear.
So true.
Do you know if you check the rate, you see out of Bernard lot?
Mm-hmm.
See if there's any trace of a former U.S. ambassador having interest in the land out there.
Archie Marks, is it?
No.
Not her.
There was a very feisty white man that was here. Remember him?
Please tell me.
Don't remember his name. I tried my best to forget it. A millionaire of sorts.
Mm.
Who got in with certain people in our hierarchy of our politics and cook deals to build factories. How can you be in a land, a world where food is going to be short? And you take arable lands close to Kingston and want to put concrete on it. That makes sense to you? So you'll have some very fancy looking houses with starving people in them.
Oh my.
Which is why these people listening to me sometimes when man chat too long, you don't hear the facts. The man wants to remove taxes from incoming food.
Wow.
What that's saying to the farmers?
You can't dead if you're hungry, or the food can't spoil.
There you go. Do you know that there's a certain hotel chain in this country that helped the demise of the farming industry as we knew it?
Wow.
They used to pay at the kitchen door. And then they say, no, we're paying fortnightly. And they say, no, we're paying monthly. And they basically stopped paying. There was a meat processing place that sued them for outstanding money and won. And the owner of the chain told everybody that if you want to do business with me, you can't do business with him.
Wow.
And that went under. Don't take my word for it. Go read.
I will.
I can give a hint. It was situated in Ocherius.
Well, it's not the company that started in 1981.
Somewhere around there, yeah. Meat processing, butchery, and all the cuts. Don't look up national meats.
National Meats.
Yeah. There is a certain, somebody told me something the other day. He said, Bobby, shut up or be prepared to go to war. Well, I'm a soldier.
Ooh.
So now, here's the running. You have people who wish to God that people like me, who have lived long enough to have seen it twice, will have something called Alzheimer's, or something that them can say me mad. I live in a house where I pay my taxes and there's no mortgage. I used to have a sign on my gate and we have to put it back up. It says no trespassing.
There you go.
Be shot.
Trespass.
Survivors be shot again. In the words of an old music, can't say me never did I warn you.
But you know, Mr. Smith, you're a blessing to Jamaica, I must say, you know. And I heard this from someone saying anytime we lose an elder out of our society, we lose a library. And for you, each time I hear you talk, and I know a lot of people share the same sentiments, we're able to get history so refreshing. It sounds so new. But
I'm very fundamental. Make I correct you. Jamaica is a blessing to me. God in his ultimate wisdom created a situation that I came to earth in this blessed piece of land. Was able to reproduce my genes through 6 individuals. A lovely laid out, 3 boys, 3 girls.
Yes.
Which means I have brought them into a country that is the Garden of Eden revisited, but it's still full of snakes.
Wow.
Think about it. I could have my children in the States and they be living under Trump.
True.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
I have a tendency to relate situations to music when it was music being written, not the crap now.
Yes.
Where you say, what's the matter with the world? Has the world gone mad? Nothing's wrong with the world. It's just the people that's in it.
That's true.
Jamaicans, if you ask me to make a plea to Jamaicans, my plea is this. Forget the personalities. To hell with the personalities. Find out what the issues are. Talking pretty and fancy. Don't put water in your pipes.
True.
Don't put roof over your head. Don't make your child capable of getting that education.
And don't put food in your belly.
There you go. What does it mean to be a Jamaican? What should it mean? It should mean that you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, and unfettered access to education. Everything else is brought.
So true.
Stop
and once you're educated, you're able to preserve your health. You rely less on the healthcare system.
Stop teaching your children to learn stuff and get qualified to get a job. To hell with that. That's a plantation.
Thank you.
Get yourself something to own. They don't want that. Because if you own it, there are less people in the worker pool, which means you have to play a little bit more money. But at the same time, rather than training people as we should, we try to import workers to work in the hotel building industry.
Yes.
And we'll do so without even blinking.
Well, you know, when I look at tourism, as I said, I've been in the tourism sector for over a decade. I look at it as if somebody don't come to my house, me can't eat.
There you go.
And that's dangerous.
Yep, because he who feeds you owns you.
Thank you. When they drop them gem there now, Uncle, you have to say it twice, you know. Say that again.
He who feeds you owns you.
So no wonder the people in the tourism sector getting $2, $4 per hour.
Exactly. Because it's again, I think I've told you this already. Let me say it again for those who have. Jamaica is the largest remaining plantation on earth, undergoing the longest slave revolt in history.
And can you explain that a little bit more for those who might not understand?
We're still on the plantation. Once upon a time, they used to own us. Now they rent us.
Wow. You know, when I hear people, the Prime Minister and a lot of people saying that unemployment is down 3.5% and is the lowest. But I'm saying in slavery, everybody was working on the plantation.
So what's interesting, in those employment numbers, they count the windscreen wipers.
And 1 hour and then you're unemployed.
Yes.
It's graceful.
It's smoke and mirrors. In slavery, or when slavery just finished, or said to be finished, there's something called a company store. You go pick up your little salt, your little flour, your little saltfish, this and that, and then write it down in a book. And at the end of your pay period time, you go for collect your pay and then look in the book. And invariably, they say, we don't owe you, you know. Matter of fact, you owe us.
Wow.
Sound familiar? You want me to tell you where it comes from? We still have it today. But you look at it as higher purchase.
Yes.
So take it, man. Nothing down. Go home.
What is your take on the extrajudicial killing that is happening in Jamaica?
Between America and our adaptation of certain things, Fourth Reich may be here.
Say that one more time.
Between America and other places like us now, the Fourth Reich may be here. Same sort of shit used to happen in Hitler. That's in Germany. You suspect somebody of something, you knock down them door and them twitch, trying to defend what they think is their castle, and you kill him.
Wow.
Find something to accuse him of. I'm not saying that's what's happening, you know.
Yes. But it bear resemblance.
There must be more effective ways of bringing people in. And if them
Thanks.
don't want to come in, well, them know the chance them take.
Yeah.
But if it's a stage where a young man in the inner city feels that the easiest way out of this is to fire at the police because he does not see himself being treated properly if he's apprehended or if he gives up,
Mm-hmm.
you leave him with no choice.
But I don't think that apprehension is in the minds of these police officers because wouldn't apprehension kill the network?
Yeah, and they give instructions otherwise.
Yes. Shoot first, ask questions later.
As if you shoot that guy, he can't tell you about my association with him.
There you go.
That's said this in case people think I'm being political. Every single member of parliament at the election in this country, whether or not they participated, know who the violence producers in their constituencies are.
I believe so too.
They don't need to spell our guess. They know. And it's not hard to chart them and find them where them there. And some people may know them because of their association with arming them.
How can we get away from this, Mr. Smith?
When the government change, lock up people with what you know. And I'm not talking about the guy from where they call that Gradstead or down at Tivoli.
The root.
I'm talking about the man who gave them the weapon.
The source, eh?
Yep. And see, that's why you have this Israeli thing where Pegasus, where you're checking everybody's calls. Find out which man of higher means have been soliciting trigger finger.
You know, the situation about the barrel incidents where we had seen more than one barrel money carrier. I don't call them brinks because they weren't armored truck. First thing I'm asking, do you think that it was right for anybody to give these people license to use Pro Box and some other cars to transport money in Jamaica?
When I used to be active in the industry, certain vehicles called soft skin vehicles, which were the insurance on those vehicles to do cash in transit was far less. Insurance companies wouldn't take the risk.
Oh.
But somebody wanted the entire kit and caboodle. And in order to do that, they would have to get a whole heap of armored car. So they put in some soft skin vehicles. Also, have you checked the root name of the name beryllium?
No.
It is said to be a brittle metal.
It is said to be a?
Brittle metal.
Brittle metal. Okay.
Now you tell me say you can't buy money in something named after a brittle metal.
Crazy. But who allowed this to happen? I'm asking. I'm not sure.
The next on my list for begging for legislation behind impeachment is campaign donation legislation. I want to know who gave what to who.
So true.
So that I can know that them don't get tough contracts.
Yeah.
And nobody just handing out millions of dollars just so. They are business people, they want back the money.
Yes.
See to the United States there.
Scratch my back and I scratch yours.
Trump get a crap load of money. So now he has to be selling Teslas on the White House lawn.
Oh my.
Has anybody checked in to see these large green trucks who are doing a whole heap of the road work, haulage and rest of the stuff? As to the owners?
Not sure now. I see quite a few of them about.
Find out who own them. And you may not go directly to where the true owner is, but find out who the said owner is associated with. Some of them were not licensed to run the road, you know.
Wow.
But all these contractors can't get no work because of these trucks. That was a 9-day wonder. The ball squeal and sing, and they must decide this is Jamaica. Nobody will pay attention. So a man spent half of his life getting money to get the truck so he can get money from the truck to build him house. Now have to be sitting down.
Wow.
Trying hard not to become part of the criminal underworld.
Corruption.
It's not corruption. Corruption is a simple thing. Corruption is I tell you, say, do this for me, I do that for you. What is actually going on is incestuous behavior. We're talking about scratching back. It's called mutual masturbation.
It's a crazy country that we live in. How can we change this though, Uncle Lindsay?
Change the government.
Change the government.
Yeah, and stop buying into the fact that what this one doing, the other one did. It did. I know certain things that were called scandals. That didn't come close to it. You see the net surf thing? Nowhere near somebody who again shall remain nameless and want them sue you. Walk into an office while the minister was on the phone negotiating. And when the negotiation done on the phone, they say, well, how my side it? So what are you talking about? Wow. I was here negotiating. They said, the master just get it. Said, okay, all right, cool. And the next time the master sits in the parliament, he bring it up.
Wow.
Because him didn't get him cut, but there was no cut to get. In Chinese came here to help rehabilitate the railway. And somebody said to them, so how my side it go? And they left here so fast you should have seen the jet stream. Wow. That put you against a wall before you blink.
Easy.
What happened is that we have old sayings. One come from Harlem. So you never know how far you can go till you're done gone too far. And if you keep getting away with something, after a while you think it's normal.
Yes. That's so true. We have normalized corruption in Jamaica.
Yep.
We have normalized incompetence in Jamaica.
When you talk about family values, let me jump off the deep end, make a big splash and stand to one side now.
Yes.
Compare the family values of one party's leadership to the other and tell me what you come up with.
I see one dysfunctional family. I see people inside the House of Parliament. I pretend like them like each other. I seen them in more than one public outings where they're very awkward, where one wiping off, kiss off another one. And there's so much things in the public space about one. And then you have one where their son spoke so eloquently, and when you see this gentleman speak about his wife, it's so radiant, and you can feel the feeling when Mr. Golden speak about his wife.
Do you know how far that I come?
How long?
I can speak from first-hand knowledge.
Yes.
My uncle, God rest his soul, was Sidney Williams,
Mm-hmm.
surgeon. I think rated at one stage almost the third best in the world. Sidney is the one who created a system to take keloid skin off of black people
Mm-hmm.
after his daughter. Sidney used to go around doing reconstructive surgery and things. And I used to run around as a young teenager after him, help him to do the photography.
Mm-hmm.
One of the places he visited regularly, both on a social and business basis, was Sir John Golding's place.
Yes.
And I was on a number of occasions hearing Sir John Golding complaining about his son's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And your young say you don't get involved. And when we drive it out, I say, Uncle Sidney, what was that about? And him say, him have a girlfriend down in Augustown.
Yes.
And every evening him park up down there with him. He used to drive an escort in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so attached to this young woman that he wasn't leaving.
Oh.
There are rumors or things that her mother was a helper somewhere that never fazed him at all.
Wow.
When he went abroad to study,
Mm.
he decided, no, he can't concentrate. So he flew her up.
Wow.
So she stayed up there with him. You ever heard the thing called a one-burner stove?
Yes.
Mark Golding. Very amicable, he was sitting over there by and drink a rum and what you doing thing. But if that taking on a girl,
Wow.
all
Those
him
are
have
some of the values that needs to be reintroduced into the Jamaican system.
inculcated. You know, it's that them digging deep and hard and can't find nothing for pin upon him.
Wow.
And that I don't say the man's a saint or anything, But people forget that VIP security people are begun are thought of as furniture. After a while, them things say that there. So we see everything.
Wow.
I was the one who told people that Vanessa Phillips was the snake in the grass.
Wow.
PNP lost the first election that was Portia thing there because of Phillips.
Yeah.
She held back her people in the Papine division and make Andre lose. And that's how we lost by the one vote, by the one seat.
My God.
And she showed her true colors after a while by skipping the fence. When she sucked everything she could off of the PNP.
Oh.
Matahara in color.
And she's out here speaking all type of foolishness because I heard her speaking about the FSC the other day and saying that it was Usain Bolt that was reckless with his money. But she not educating the Jamaican people to tell them that FSC is a government agency and it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that they keep the integrity of the financial sector in the country.
My father, who I quote consistently, and I feel like he lives in, had a number of sayings, one of which I commit to your listeners. Better to shut one's mouth and be considered a fool
Yes.
than dispel all doubt.
I remember you said it.
So when people like Miss Phillips make certain utterances, I'm reminded of the circus situation when somebody dropped from a high wire and them say, send in the clowns. You're sending the clowns to distract people from the tragedy that just occurred. When I see Miss Lady, I realize they send in the clowns.
Probably. Probably Marlon Morgan drop in that same category as well, because I hear him come out and saying that if Mark Golden, I think it was Jeffrey Tavares, yes, and O'Brien want to swim in the people's blood to get to Garden House.
What I'm asking is, will Mr. Morgan be helping fill the pool?
Say that again.
Will Mr. Morgan be the one helping to fill the pool? The pool
Oh
with,
my.
you don't see him, the whole of them start to wear like all paramilitary and that type of thing. And I've usually discovered that when people dress up in the garb, they can't do the fight.
Okay.
I see, you look at some people, that when they go to prep school, a bully. Somebody saying something.
Yes, Anissa, go again. Sorry.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Smith. Nice having you again. Just quick question though. The Jamaica Labour Party chairman, where is he actually? Is he gone missing in action or what? Because all these meetings and campaigning, I have not seen him. Where is he? What, he has retired from the post or what?
Let me help you out. Remember when there was going to be a runoff for the presidency of the JLP between Shaw and Hollis? Do you know that somebody it was in the paper. Do you know that somebody asked Mr. Montague why I'm not running? Do you also know that Mr. Montague has the largest amount of delegates in the JLP?
He does.
He has the largest amount of delegates in the JLP. And his response was, I can't bother, it would be like taking candy from a baby. It is my belief that the current leader took offense and started giving him baskets to carry water, which is why he put him first in the security portfolio. But most people don't realize, for instance, that Jamaica I was put into place. It was there before, as a project, but it was put into place by Bobby Montague. Since he leave, them can't maintain the camera. It is my belief that it's bad enough when people outside of your situation attacks you. But when you have to wonder if people in your own organization, if when they're patting you on the back, they're actually searching for a soft spot to stick the knife.
Oh.
So I believe that Mr. Montague may be strategically sitting on a hill somewhere, out of the line of fire. Either that or his uncle has indicated to him, keep your head inside.
Oh my.
Remember that uncle?
No, I don't know.
The man come out and tell everybody say in plain sight that the uncle is a Wobia man.
Oh. I heard that.
Came out of his mouth. If he go like, do the research, the man is there.
I'm gonna have to do so. I'm writing down the information.
Man say, you can't go on, my uncle is a Wobia man. Has it also occurred to anybody that the current Minister of National Security once told people emphatically that every month 200 guns enter this island?
Yes.
How you know that? And if that information, what did you do about it? Does anybody else remember that there's a big shootout that they had to fly the special team from camp by helicopter down with a shootout in a house. And the perpetrator was finally killed. The most wanted man. There was only one problem. Who the house is said to have belonged to.
Was it the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party?
Why do you keep? I thought you were somebody that had my interest at heart.
No, I'm just. Maybe somebody in the comment section knows.
Maybe. Let them say so.
Maybe somebody knows. Well, see, Onisia said yes.
Okay. But that died, that along with the perpetrator died a natural or unnatural death.
You know, Uncle Fancy, I would love for you to give us something to wrap up with, because I will be going in just a few. But again, we appreciate you each and every time that you grace the platform. I really appreciate your time and, you know, in your presence. Is there anything that you want to leave the Jamaican people with today?
Look at the proper pronunciation of this country of ours. It's Jamaica. And we keep flying in his face by spoiling the garden. Has it ever occurred to anybody that people spend millions to come here and lie down in the sun?
Yes.
And we are doing our best to mess it up. We have water that most streams you can drink from. Nothing when big people in business and contributors to our campaign poison the river.
Wow.
We do nothing to them. Ask yourself the question, not what can my country do for me, but what can I do for my country? And if you don't feel inclined that way, why bother have children if you're not leaving something that's worthwhile for them?
So true.
And for the people who are still undecided, think long and hard, go to church, kneel down beside your bed, whatever, and when you finish with the prayer, vote. No matter what them say or do, vote. You still have a couple of days to register, vote. People were not put in office to rule over us.
Yes.
They are employed to us.
Thank you.
There comes a time to hire, and there comes a time to fire.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much for that. It comes a time when you hire, and it comes a time that you fire. And it couldn't be put any better than that. And to add to that, the time come.
Time come. But when your employee thinks that the business is now their own,
Time come for you.
what sticks in my craw, I will continue to do so, is the Prime Minister's discussion about the corner shop during the pandemic.
Yes. Very disrespectful.
That was the unkindest cut of all.
So true.
The place that most families find a way to put something in them child belly for the night. You cuss and try to place blame on. I heard it said once that the Prime Minister claimed to have come from the bowels of the people. I understand him fully now. Because as far as I know, only one thing I know come from the bowels.
Bowels. Something there, something that's...
What? Me say something wrong?
Yeah, something else, man. What difference from the bowels?
What does that mean, say so? The gentleman said He came from the bowels of the people.
Oh my.
That's something I try put into his mouth. Did. And everything happened on record somewhere.
You're just repeating what was said.
There was a big confrontation some time ago. Ombudsman went down to discuss the matter and placate the situation. And the current Prime Minister blatantly, it was in the paper, so that him not shaking him hand. That and his outburst during his 5-hour marathon against the leader of the opposition showed me a level of personalized feeling that, you know, that man carry belly. Yep.
I want to leave it right there for another day, Uncle Smith. I really appreciate you again. We're going to run, but thank you for making it common sense reasoning. And you add value as always. So Brad just able to come. And I think that she's your A student, you know. She was out today, but we have
from Brad than she learns from me.
There you go. But we will be back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Yeah, Brad's running as the reach. But I have a quick make, so most definitely we appreciate everybody that has been here. I see Brad saying good evening to you, Uncle Finsley.
How you doing? Remind me to tell you of some reading you need to do.
All right, Uncle. You can send me the information, and I'll be happy to do the reading.
Not a problem.
Hope to make you proud again on Wednesday. All
Well,
right.
important day, you know.
Could you go again?
Wednesdays are very important.
To be here on next week. Sorry.
Come on. The man is bringing what you call structure. And we'll see how that goes.
There you go. But again, thank you ever so much. People, I will be wrapping up for today. We'll see you back on Wednesday. Wednesday is a very important day. Marco Rubio will be here to bring instruction, as you said. All right. So thank you again, everybody. And we will see you back on Wednesday.
Bless.
Take care. So Brad said it. It will be civics on Wednesday. So people come with the mindset to learn about civics. We are putting it back into our society. The government took it out, but now we're going to ensure that we educate the Jamaican people what it means to be a Jamaican. We must learn our heritage and our culture. We must know of our civics duties and, be a better citizen of your country. So thank you ever so much for being here. It has been good. We spoke about the state of the economy. We had a long chat today, and I appreciate every minute of it. So again, everybody have a wonderful day. Brat is just coming in, but most definitely we'll see you back on Wednesday. This has been Common Sense Reasoning. Jamaica's your host, co-host Brat. She wasn't here today, but